if you look at the hurdles around creating a business case and what kind of got talent through those hurdles, what would you see as the kind of main areas where the rest of the business might sort of go, we don't normally do that, or do we really need to do this? What were the kind of, because nobody really likes change, do they?
No, we all fight against change. You get the odd few that thrive in it, but yeah. So really it was the IR35, which was the strap line. That's what got us in front of the senior leadership team. And it was very much about the savings that you could make if you put through statements of work with correct scopes and went out competitively to your suppliers.
Massive difference.
And by having that sold as a self-service really piqued the interest of our senior leadership team. It really helped that they are a friendly bunch and actually you can have those discussions. So putting the business case together took a long time. It went through numerous iterations to really get it right in its articulation of exactly what it could do. You know, in an ideal world, we should be using something for at least a year before we go for a business case, because then you can really understand what it does.
Right.
We don't get that as a luxury. You have to obviously get it signed off before you use it first. Trial periods are sometimes acknowledged and used. We didn't have that luxury. So it really was about identifying those true benefits. So for us, it was the compliance, the threat of HMRC coming after you, and then it was around the cost savings. What could it drive for the business, and how do you get something to either be cost neutral or cost positive? So by suggesting that using it competitively, we could save the fee that it would cost, essentially, in a down and dirty way. That's what ended up being the pass mark for it to be signed off.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And it's like you say, when you tie into that kind of overall value proposition and the savings side of it, there's quite a few different elements. There's the efficiency side of it. There's the risks, risk mitigation around potential fines for misclassification and things like that. But then there's savings around things like settlements. There's savings around things like getting better prices out of your suppliers because more of them are going through a competitive process. That's where it really starts to add up. And it's interesting what you said around not having had the luxury of running a trial period. That, I think, my own personal viewpoint is that if technology doesn't allow organizations, or if the service that people take on doesn't allow people to run a proof of concept when they want to, I think that can significantly hold a market back. And I feel like that's one of the things that's possibly happened in services procurement, where organizations, the spend is always big.
Yes.
So if you try and eat the whole elephant at once, that's tricky. The way that you guys have done it, where you've basically iterated, taken one area, build out to another area, build out to another area, I think that's been fantastic. Best practice evidence of how to do it and how to roll it out very successfully within an organization. But basically, if you try and eat the whole elephant at once, it just doesn't move. People just don't do it. And if the technology can't do it on a smaller scale to start with, or the service provider can't run a POC, I think that is a significant hurdle just for the broader industry. So it's something that, in terms of how we operate and how we operate with our MSP partners, like Mawson and others, that's something that I'm personally a strong advocate of in the market, because sometimes these business cases have to have that to start with, don't they?
They do. And it's an ideal world, right? But we did carve it up. We certainly didn't take it all on to start with. It would not have worked. Big Bang would not have worked in the behaviours that we have within our organisation. Within the technology area with engineering, I think it's safe to say that other people can resonate. It's relationships that have been there for 20, 25 years, and they know who they like. They get to know each other's kids, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
It's quite incestuous in our area. So it's taking sections and going, right, let's trial it. You can have a voice. You use it. Why don't you give us feedback once you've used it? And by empowering the users, where it's not just a dictatorship, that's really helped. And it's something that I'm really keen on, and I do tell the stakeholders during training that if you've got ideas, then it can morph, it can change. This isn't rigid. And if you've got a voice it. You know, I'm not here to dictate to you. I'm here to give you a route that is compliant.
Yep.
But if you have ideas on what's missing, let me know. And that does build a really good adherence to what we're doing. It buys
trust.
people in, and it's massive trust. That's a really good way of putting it, because you're not invalidating people's thoughts or beliefs on what they're doing operationally. You're saying, we need to do this because of X, Y, Z, but actually if we need to tweak it, if we need to bend it to do something that it's not currently doing, articulate it to us, tell us, and we can work together. And that having that advocate on board as well during rollout helped significantly.